for a project that she was doing back in 2009, and I like was in charge of hiring performers like buskers and jugglers and people like that, and putting on an outdoor street fair basically that coincided with her project in the Crossroads. And then 10 years later, she called me and said, "We need someone to do those weird things you do, but in Overland Park." And so
Yeah,
here I am.
that's awesome. Very cool. And I've seen your work before, and I know a little bit about it. But just curious, can you give us a kind of overview of what kind of work you do?
I do, I do largely abstract, but then I work on I like to work really small. So I'll do a lot of pen and ink drawings. I'll do small scale sculpture, like little faces about the size of a lentil. I say to give people like a to give people an idea
Yeah.
of size. But yeah, I love architecture. I love bioforms. I love making tiny things that force people to get close and personal with the work so that they have to engage.
Nice. I like that. Um, awesome. So tell us a little bit about Interurban Art House and kind of what you guys do as an organization.
The art house, I'm sure a lot of people think this way about their organizations, but I feel like we're like a little arts organization that could. So we started about 10 years ago. We're coming up on our 10th anniversary here, which is nuts. But we focus mainly on art, our advocacy for artists, like for the arts and then also for artists. So we focus on maintaining affordable artist studio space because there just really wasn't much or any in the Overland Park area. Um, it's scarce in the Kansas City metro area, so it was especially sparse here. We focus on giving artists who are part of marginalized communities a voice, and then as well as partnering with other art organizations that are doing the same thing or are a part of those communities. We want to make the arts accessible to everyone. So, people from the surrounding neighborhood, we say, come in and, view this exhibition. Of course, right now we're doing that as safely as we can. Everybody inside wear a mask and only a certain amount of people. Um, but yeah, we really just want to make the arts accessible for whether you're appreciating the art as, as a patron or just, average person, if whether you're an artist and you need some advice or a starting point to incorporate or improve your business skills as an artist, because that's vital. If you're just looking to show work, or we get some artists who have never shown before, their work is amazing but they've never made the leap to showing publicly or in a designated art space. So yeah, we try to provide a lot of different services. We connect artists with classrooms. So, an artist may go into a classroom and teach kids how to make a certain thing or how to play an instrument, or how to, do like an improv or something like that. Just something that connects students with the arts. Um, yeah, we try and do it all with
Yeah.
a staff. It started as one, Nicole, and then it went to two with Nicole and Angie, then three with me, and now we're up to five.
Nice. That's awesome.
Slowly,
Yeah. Getting there, building it. We feel that we're a staff of two. So
yeah.
we
So like,
know.
yeah, trying to help as many people as possible, being just a small group of people. But
Yeah.
we found that, as we work at building community, it kind of takes care of itself. So, we generally have 4 flagship exhibitions a year. They're all social justice themed. So we just finished our women's exhibition. So artists who identify as women and non-binary femme. And we did that in partnership with the Women's Center at UMKC. When to give a shout out to RZ Molly over there at the Women's Center. She plays a huge role in doing that with us every year. She's also coincidentally the person who gave me my first solo exhibition when I was like 19, maybe.
Oh, nice.
Um, Next, we've got we currently have a show up for one of our studio artists, Marsha Streepy. She's doing a retrospective show, and she's one woman, but she has filled our gallery space, and that's just like a tiny percentage of the amount of work that she's generated over her lifetime.
Yeah.
So she's prolific. And then in June we've got our LGBTQ exhibition. So any artist in the queer community is welcome to apply. After that, we do our multicultural exhibition, Tangled Roots. And then in the winter months, like January, February, we do we call Hands That Heal. So it deals with art and mental and physical health.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So for the exhibitions, you typically it's not just visual, correct? You guys, pair it with performing and sometimes literary too, right? You guys have
Mhm.
like
We do it
poetry.
all. Yeah, so part of our artist calls, we're open to programming ideas that people may
Mm.
have. So we've ended up we'll have the visual art component, and then maybe somebody is a spoken word artist and wants to perform. Or with our LGBTQ show, we pair that with a storytelling night, so
Yeah.
that people don't have to be artists, they don't have to be writers, but if they've got a story to tell and they would just like to tell it, we do that. And that's been a really special experience. So I'm looking forward to doing that again this year. We also host concert series, and during our exhibition periods, we'll try and have those concerts kind of coincide or relate to the exhibition that's in the space. And we have while we do have a regular concert series, we do also have a concert associated with each exhibition.
Nice.
Little of this, little of that, so
Yeah.
that we're covering every area of the arts that we can.
That's awesome.
We've local dance companies.
Mhm.
That's been recent in the past year. That's been pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool. So just curious, how many studios do you have filled right now with artists?
I filled all of them except maybe
Oh,
one. We've got 19 studios total, and then some studios are shared. So we have more artists than we have studios. We're working on ways to make those studios even more affordable. We're looking at different avenues of funding to make sure that people can access them. But yeah, we tend to stay pretty full as far as spaces. This past year, some people have had to move out, and so we're looking at how we're going to make a couple studio spaces available. And what our process is going to be, but people can always apply for those studio spaces on our website.
cool. Awesome. Um, so let's talk about the queer experience exhibition specifically.
Let's
Um, you were you the one that kind of started that, or was that like a group, an urban thing?
Yeah, it's kind of so it is my baby. um, so each of us, Nicole, Angie, and I, kind of had an exhibition that we ended up driving, spearheading. So Nicole's was the multicultural
Mhm.
exhibition. She started that off with the Jewish Community Center, NOP, and then expanded it to include people from many different ethnic backgrounds. Angie spearheads the Hands That Heal exhibition, and then as I came on, I was thinking, well, what is mine, or what, and we didn't lay it out that way of like we each take one on. It just kind of happened that way.
Right.
But I realized that I just hadn't seen any queer, like major queer exhibitions in town. Yeah, they're queer artists. We're here,
Mhm.
but I hadn't seen us all show together, or a large group of us. Especially, I hadn't seen it in Overland Park. So I said, "Hey, let's do it." I'd been working with a group called Electrosexual that puts on like queer events around the city, and they're meant to be inclusive and safe spaces where people can just go to dance and feel safe and wanted. But they also put out a magazine, digital and physical, of visual art, photography, poetry, prose, essays, all of it that deals with queer life and queer experiences. And as I kind of came to the realization that we should do like a big LGBTQ show, um, and spoke with Mackenzie over at Electrosexual. Is like, well, you've got a pool of people that you work with, and I've got some people that I would like to invite. Why don't we combine forces? And so every year we kind of partner to make it happen.
Awesome. That's awesome. So how does this look? How does it look differently during COVID than other years?
Um, you and I talked before about that terrible word pivot. So I decided I am just going to go with we pirouetted right when we had to
I love
we realized that we just couldn't we couldn't show in person. So we basically busted our asses to put everything online.
that.
It looked like exhibitions going online. So like images of each piece or a virtual tour, and then we would record artists like speaking their statements about their work or their practice or what inspires them to make those videos accessible. The same with all the rest of the programming. So like we worked with Tristan Griffin Dance Company to produce like a piece of choreography. It was one piece of choreography, and then 11 dancers from across the country each did a part of like perform the choreography, and then it was put together so it was all like one seamless dance, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we had to get really innovative with it and reach an even bigger audience. The same thing happened last year with the queer experience. So um, we made a page for each artist, and each artist had a little suite of works, and then our queer storytelling night was a Zoom call.
Nice.
That we broadcast live, kind of like we're doing here.
Mhm.
um, and but in of course the energy wasn't the same, but it was still beautiful. And I think artists really appreciated being able to still show. It's not the same energy as showing your work in a physical space, but we kept it going, and
Yeah.
so did they.
Better than, not showing at
Mhm.
all for an entire year or longer.
Mhm.
Just,
This year we're going to do and it also set the tone for how we're going to go about it from here on out. It'll be both, because I know there's constant talk about accessibility. So artists who may have accessibility issues or living with a disability can't make a show, or so many venues are up flights of stairs, and there's no alternative option in those venues. Um, so it's opened the door to having to think about accessibility issues for people, which I think has been good. And then taking that even further, and people who can't see the screen or can't hear someone talk. I think that's forced us to really take a look at how we operate and how we show.
yeah, that's awesome and super important. And we're kind of on the same track too. I feel like a lot of organizations are, which is really awesome that people are, um, actually looking at that kind of thing and making changes that need to happen.
It's
Um,
too bad for the pandemic for us to do it, but we're doing it.
yeah, I know. Um, so the Queer Experience exhibition, you said it was open to all LGBTQ plus artists. When is it's open right now? The call is open.
The call is up now. It'll be open through the end of May. So May 30th is the deadline. It is open to all queer identified artists that include LGBTQ, um, you know, asexual, trans, like everybody. And I also want to emphasize that just because it is about the queer experience doesn't mean that work has to deal directly with queerness or the queer experience. If you are a queer artist, that is a part of your perspective.
Mhm.
So even if you draw, if you paint colorful series of dots, that's part of your perspective. And even if your queerness, your sexuality, how you identify is only a portion of who you are, that's still you are still more than welcome and wanted.
Yeah, awesome. Um, so speaking of artist perspectives, from your perspective as an artist, and as a part of an organization, how did you um, what have you noticed and seen firsthand and experienced about how artists have been affected by COVID?
In a lot of ways, there were a lot of different reactions. So, some people had to stop making art because they had to figure out how they were going to make money. Others took the time to kind of start building a body of work because there just wasn't time,
Mhm.
you know, with how our work schedules used to be. I've seen I remember at the beginning, a lot of people like were really, really supportive of the art. So people were selling more work than ever before in some cases. And then, um, especially when, we're still in a racial reckoning. But I'm seeing, more and more Black art hit the mainstream, and sell and be, appreciated outside of Black spaces and outside of the Black gaze. Um, and I'm very optimistic about that. I'm also like I hope it lasts longer than than the pandemic, um, but I also understand that that has to be it has to happen that way, to get things started, to get the ball rolling, and to normalize it everywhere. And then seeing Asian and Pacific Islander awareness, and artists coming forward more and more. Um, so I don't know. It feels like things are being shaken up, and rightly so. Uh, as far as what artists, I don't know, the artists who are being shown and the artists who are being praised and lifted up. I'm really enjoying it being refreshed and changed.
Yeah. And I love that your organization, even before the pandemic, made a point to, support artists and people in underrepresented groups. Um, so
Yeah,
for that.
it's like all of us here. That's our soapbox. Basically, it's just who is not included in the upper echelons of the art world, not necessarily because of a lack of skill or a lack of business acumen, but just because your subject matter falls outside of a certain um, demographics gaze, and it's just yeah. We really do our best to make sure that lots of different types of people are represented in a mainstream space.
Mhm. Yeah. So, other than the queer experience, what do you guys have coming up next? Any like big events or anything that we should be tuning into?
Yeah, June 6th, we keep our concert series going. So June 6th, we have a concert. Let's see, I'm trying to get it all laid out. And I suppose I can comment with this later. And
Yeah.
I didn't have this prepared.
Sorry, I kind of
But,
put you on the spot with that one.
yeah. Uh, Yeah, we'll have our queer storytelling night in July. Our multicultural exhibition will open in August, and then we also curate annex spaces, so corporate spaces around town, where we've got like a cycling of our member artists and our studio artists. So it's only available to our member and studio artists, but they're eligible to show in corporate spaces. So basically, it goes like the corporate entity looks through who we've got and says, I would like to show this artist, and then we get them in queue. So that happens throughout the year. But yeah, you could just go to enterurbanarthouse.org. There's always something going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. I didn't know you guys did the annex spaces. That's really cool. And is that Overland Park specific or
For now, yes, it is Overland Park specific, because I'm only one man.
for sure? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we've got like three or four going, and that's good.
Yeah,
That's good. But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
we are looking to grow it a bit in the future.
Okay. And can artists be members without having studio space?
Correct. Their membership gets they can work from home. Every once in a while, we or on Mondays we've started having member artist time where they can come in our big main space and set up a table, kind of distance, of course, and work with other people in the space. and then yeah, they can just participate. They can work from home or other studio spaces, but still get in on what it is we're doing. We're also looking at partnering more with other organizations like the Kansas City Artists Coalition, because some of their members are our members, or some of our studio artists are their members. There's just a
Mhm.
lot of crossover and a lot of they're pretty much like our sister organization over on the KCMO side. They're wanting to do a lot of the same sorts of things: support artists, provide studio space, and make opportunities and create networks for artists. So we're looking at we're still developing possible crossover membership perks, that sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah, I saw you guys did the workshop series on kind of art and business, and that was really cool. So,
Yeah, that was a fantastic experience. So that was an organization called Springboard for the Arts that really wants to help artists grow their business skills, and so they partnered with us, um, and we found like a couple of artist instructors. Katie Mabry Van Dieren, who runs the Strawberry Swing, and Clarissa
yeah,
Knighton, one of our studio artists, but also a phenomenal jeweler. She's been working the runways here
yeah.
at Fashion Week, to be like facilitators, and just kind of walk people through, or peer facilitators,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. We also have been working with Elise Gagliardi over at Pico Gallery. We did a few artist critique sessions, and we're looking to continue that into the summer.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that as an artist myself, that's kind of one of the big things I'm missing is, I mean, not only just because of COVID, obviously the community aspect has, you know,
Yeah,
gone
yeah,
down, but the critiques, getting feedback from peers and other artists. So I've done a couple of Elisa's critique groups, and
yeah. I remember you being there.
yeah, yeah. So those are
Yeah,
awesome.
that's something that a lot of artists, and yeah, we've noticed that there isn't much critique. Like if you went to the Art Institute and you did crit, that's great. And also those could be really scary as an art student, but these are just like um, peer led crits where you can say, I've got this piece, I've got a specific question, or here's the piece, like what do you feel, what do could this be improved? And it's friendly, it's welcoming, it's not, you aren't judged, you just have your questions answered.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a kind of a fresh pair of eyes looking at your stuff and
Yeah, and
helping you evaluate.
it's just not something that happens a lot here.
Right.
There's a lot of like, oh, this work is amazing, and it may be amazing, but that may be all the artist hears.
Right. And is that
And
cool? Yeah, it's nice to hear, but doesn't really push you forward like a critique does. So yeah. Is there anything else that you want to plug before we end our conversation? Anything else that I missed or you want to touch on?
I would just say that if you want to know more about being an artist member, or if you just want to support the arts, we also do like a business membership or just a supporter membership. Um, am I allowed to give a monetary amount on this, or is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's across the board, $100 annually, and you help us keep supporting artists. Yeah, it helps us keep studio fees low. It helps us with scholarship programs. It helps us to pay artists, because that's one of the things. First and foremost, we don't ask people to do things for free.
Mhm.
If somebody offers to do something out of the kindness of their heart, great, but we don't ask people to do things for free. So any and every little bit helps us continue to do that. And you can learn more at enterurbanarthouse.org.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And thank you so much for taking a half hour out of your day to chat with me. And I look forward to partnering with you soon. I know we're always working on stuff together. So um,
Ooh, yeah,
yeah,
keep fighting.
thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah. And we'll see you around.
All right. Have a
All right,
good one.
bye.
Bye.